Hey guys, it's Danny. Today I'm gonna take you on a tour. I'm gonna give you a bit of a bloom tour, that is. This is the sort of Orchids in Bloom video, let's say, but with a different approach to it. So I'm just gonna take you along and see what orchids have blooms in my shelves. Maybe I will take out the orchids, the ones that are showier, I guess, and do some B-rolls with them as well, and just talk a little bit about them and tell you a few things that maybe you would like to know. Right, so if you do enjoy this style a little bit more than the previous one, let me know in a comment down below. It certainly is easier for me to do. It flows better, and I know many people actually like to see the orchids on the shelves and how I grow them, and things like that, not just just the B-rolls. So I'm gonna try to mix both of them, so let me know what you think about it, right? And also, as I told you in my last tour, we're gonna do this tour with the Binas off, because on camera they do appear very purpley pink. They're not like that in reality quite at all. They're quite pleasant, but somehow they appear weird on my camera. So let's try this with my grow lights off. It's a more natural look, right? And you can actually see the color of the orchids better. Right, so let's start with this one because she is actually on her way out. She's still super, super bright, isn't she? This is the Orchidacea's, oh my gosh, Primero Amor. I don't know why I forgot the name there for a sec. I got this orchid last year, you might remember. She is a very vigorous Callia orchid. Pretty much a medium-sized orchid. I don't suspect she's gonna grow much larger than this. She bloomed quite a few times, but the flowers were attacked by pests. I think mealybugs were the culprit. This time though, she did manage to bloom. I just didn't catch her in time, but I can show you off these few blooms. You can see the lip inside has a beautiful yellow color, and the petals, you might say they are orangey. Well, the base color is this golden yellow, but on the front we have a layer of this red, or actually it's more of a purpley magenta color, and if you overlap them you get this wonderful brick red color that my camera has some issues picking up. It appears very neon-y on camera, and again, I'm not using any filters or anything. It's just how the camera picks it up. It is a very vivid color. There is no fragrance to this orchid, but she really is a vigorous grower. You don't need to worry all that much about when you're gonna repot her because she's always in vegetative mode. She's always creating roots, so that's nice, and she's always putting out blooms. Did I mention she's not fragrant? Yeah, that's the only thing that's missing, but other than that, she's very, very pretty. Pretty tiny flower, as you can see, but it's a wonderful, very joyful Cattleya. Next to her, we have a wonderful, oh, this bud is opening as well. Wonderful, wonderful Brassavola hybrid. This one is Cattleya araguayensis crossed Brassavola cuculata. You'll have the names on the screen as well, just in case I get one of them wrong. Pretty much, it is a cuculata that is pink or purple, let's say. I do have the cuculata in bloom as well, so we can see them side by side. It does have a broader lip than a typical Brassavola. It is, however, a primary hybrid, and it is absolutely glorious. The orchid herself looks just like a Brassavola, has very thin leaves, but it is just as easy to grow as any Brassavola, has, again, continuous growth, grows multiple shoots per year, blooms multiple times per year. And this one, again, I got her in 2023, so last year. She has done tremendous. She blooms non-stop pretty much, and in the nighttime she has a pretty wonderful fragrance, very reminiscent of Brassavolas. It's a little detergenty, I would say, but in a very good way. If you like Brassavola scents, I think you will like this one as well. I don't know how the Araguayensis is supposed to smell like, but definitely this one reminds me of a Brassavola. And currently she has 3 buds. One here opening up, and this one. And I'm considering to grow this one into more of a specimen size because she doesn't take up a lot of space. She's not very tall. The pseudobulbs, sorry, I'm grabbing something else. Pseudobulbs are incredibly thin. Look at that. It's gonna take a million years for this one to kick me out of the house. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try to grow her into more of a bushy type of an orchid. I don't like to keep all of my orchids bushy and large because some of them, it just doesn't pay off. But this one does because she is beautiful. And speaking about Brassavolas, let's just look at one of the parents of that hybrid, the Brassavola Cula. I have it. There she is. Currently she has 2 flowers open. The plant is this one in the back. There we go. She has very slender pseudobulbs and leaves, just like her primary hybrid there, but you can see this one is a lot bigger. She is a pendant type of an orchid, but again, she doesn't take up all that much space, and I absolutely adore it. Flower-wise, again, can we see the resemblance? Brassavolas typically have whitish, buttery, greenish, let's say, flowers. They are nightly fragrant orchids, so they do want to attract nighttime pollinators. So they really don't need fancy colors like other cattleyas, like this one over here. So all they need is just this beautiful off-white or white color that just stands out in the light of the moon. And this is why most Brassavolas are this color. But fun fact, when you cross them, when you hybridize them, especially actually the Brassavola nodosa, I'm not sure about this one, that one actually passes on some purple dots on the lip to her hybrids. That is very interesting. So there is a recessive gene in there that is purple. How about that? So this has been the Brassavola Cula, one of my all-time favorites. This is a species, and this one can actually bloom multiple flowers from the very same, let's call it an inflorescence at this point. You see this big growth node here? I kid you not, this one made 8 flowers by now, and it might put out more. Oh, yeah, I think I'm already seeing some other buds there. Well, I'm also seeing some mealybugs as well. It's okay, I'm gonna spray them. I keep spraying with isopropyl alcohol. It's not a systemic, so sometimes they keep appearing, but it keeps them under check very, very well. So let's move on to this one. This one I really need to do some B-rolls with because she's gorgeous. This is the beautiful Burana Beauty. As the name suggests, she's a beauty, and this year she really put on a show. This is an older pseudobulb that decided to bloom together with the newer pseudobulb. How about that? The party trick of this orchid, other than just being gorgeous, is also the fragrance. This one smells like roses. Now, it's more of a fresh type of rose scent. I do have a cattleya at the moment which absolutely smells like roses, more than this one. But if you can imagine, roses have kind of different scents as well, depending on the variety. This one is more of a fruity scented one. And I cannot have enough good words about this one. You might have heard me rave about it in the past as well, because I have her for a very, very long time. She's a fast grower and blooms multiple times a year if she feels like it. Sometimes no, but sometimes yes. But definitely puts out multiple growths per year, produces sheets that can stay for a year on the orchid, and all of a sudden, poof, they bloom. It depends. This year was a little stressful for my orchids, I will admit, so maybe that was the problem with that older cane. But yeah, look at her. She's absolutely amazing. Right, next to her, we have an oldie but goldie yet again. This is oh gosh, something sunspots. You'll have the tag on the screen. Sometimes, you guys, I just forget the names. It's again a Brassavola type of a hybrid. This is a color changer. I do have some videos from the past on this one as well. Another very vigorous cattleya type that smells a little bit during nighttime, a little bit like Brassavolas, but not way too much. I would not consider this one way too fragrant, or at least this year for me, she didn't really put on a fragrance. But what I love most about it is that when the blooms first open, they are pretty purple, and then as they age, they become golden. And she has these wonderful wild spots like a cheetah on her. I really, really like it. Definitely a goldie or a staple in my collection. The Hoka Jim, there you go. I remembered the name because I always want to call her Hocus Pocus, but no, it's Hoka Jim. Variety sunspots. I have her for a lot of time, as I was saying, and she's always in bloom, always in bloom. She's a big girl, as you can see. Well, let's not exaggerate. She's a medium-sized orchid, but at this moment she is quite big. She grew quite a lot because I have her for a lot of time, and I even divided her a few times, I do believe. She's a very vigorous cattleya, definitely recommended. Up above we have a Felonopsis. This is the wonderful and very famous Felonopsis Bina. Fun fact about my Bellina, whenever she puts out the third flower, one of the flowers of the past fades. This is the type of orchid that doesn't produce a cascade of blooms like we know from the flower shop Felonopsis. This is a polychilous type Felonopsis. It is a completely different thing. And if you're not already fascinated by the wonderful colors and just beautiful pattern, well, learn that this is one of the most beautiful fragrances you can encounter in the entire orchid world. And you're gonna have to agree with me or not in the comments, because I'm not joking. It's not a personal thing here, although yes, I do absolutely love her fragrance. I'm not the only one. She is generally considered one of the most beautifully fragrant orchids you can have. Let me give you an idea. It smells like Skittles, maybe. Juicy fruits, absolutely amazing, absolutely mouth-watering. And she is a very, very popular orchid. She's not rare or anything. It is a species, yes. And some sellers do take advantage of the fact that it smells so nice and it's just so popular and increase the price. So do some research in your area if you're considering to purchase this one. Most reputable nurseries should have it almost permanently in stock. Sometimes it's not in stock, yes, but they should have it at decent prices. You shouldn't pay an arm and a leg for something like this. So do some research first. Prices will vary, of course. I bought mine, I think, for 24 euros, something like that, many years ago, like 8 years ago at this point. The thing is, you can purchase it as a seedling because these types of Phalaenopsis don't take long to bloom. So you're not gonna have to wait 5 years for blooms. If you treat it right, it might actually bloom during the year or the next year. Maybe a smaller flower spike, one bloom, but then, you know, as it matures, it's gonna be better and better. So yeah, the Bellina, definitely something you need in your collection if you really like very fragrant orchids. Next, an equally, or I shouldn't say equally, it's not equally, but another very fragrant orchid. This is the Felonopsis Linnemix Zebra, a newer acquisition, and she's not disappointing. She smells very, very, very nice. Is she a Bellina hybrid? I think she is. So it smells similarly to the Bellina, and it has this wonderful zebra, let's say, pattern to the flower. Again, same type of deal. It does not produce a cascade of flowers. These types of polychilous type, Phalaenopsis, do not. And yeah, just don't expect the cascade. Expect a few flowers at a time, but fragrant and beautiful. Now, that one, I think we can all recognize her. It's the Lava Burst. It got reclassified, I forgot the name. It used to be Hoiara, and now it's Leomesia. There we go. Lava Burst. And look at that. Look how many flower spikes. She has quite a few in the back as well. Maybe I'll pull this one out and do some B-rolls as well because she's absolutely gorgeous. This is an Oncidium-like or Oncidium type of orchid and takes exactly Oncidium care. And it's just, again, one of those staple hybrids that are so incredibly affordable because, again, you get them. She's tiny, though. She's like my palm in height. She's not a big orchid. And especially when you get them at a young age, it's a tiny little thing, you know? So it's really not expensive. But the more you have it in your collection, the more it grows and the more flower spikes you have. And it's gonna become this wonderful, beautiful, just bush of flowers. I need to hang this and display it hanging somewhere. It doesn't have a fragrance though. That's the only thing. Other than that, she's just gorgeous. And many of you, I think, already know it at this point because I have her for many, many, many years. And I've just talked about her quite a lot. If you didn't know about it though, there you go. Check it out, look for it, put it on your wish list because it absolutely is worth it. All right, moving on to this side of the room. We don't have much, don't worry. All right, so these are some Cattleyas that were a little bit stressed. First of all, let's start with this one. It's another older orchid in my collection, but it has been stressed by the move a little bit. I also divided it a little bit. Anyway, we're gonna pull through. Only one bud survived this time. This is the King Mean Beauty. And if you think, oh, she looks like a rose, well, what would you say if I told you she actually does smell like a rose as well? 1-to-1, I kid you not, more than the other one that I showed you, the Burana Beauty. This one is a rose dupe. I cannot explain it otherwise. She smells exactly like a rose, and really, really looks like one too. Now, this one should be more of a cluster bloomer. She should produce more blooms than this. But as I was saying, this year she was very stressed by the move. I'm surprised she bloomed. You can see the older bulb kind of shriveled here. She was also repotted. We have a new growth here in the back that does not produce anything. It's okay. She has been incredibly stressed, so I'm kind of lucky I got one flower out of her. But yeah, this one should put on a much greater show than this. But hey, what to do? Another one that should put on a better show than this is a very young orchid. This one has history. Let me tell you what it is first. This is the Monte Elegante, and I got her last year, maybe as a young plant. Look how tiny she was. And this year she put on this growth, which is considerably larger, but I had this one in the past. I know it grows larger than this, like maybe this height. When it's this height, that's when it's mature and it puts on the greatest bloom show. This is a cluster bloomer, and if you look up the name on the internet, oh brother, you're gonna be just taken away by the beauty of this orchid. This was one of the first Kallax orchids that I ever had. Many years ago. I lost mine when I moved to Cyprus, and I've always wanted it back, and I could not find it again at a more mature state. Or when I did find it, I didn't have the budget for it. I don't know. It was just an inconvenient time until last year. Is it last year or 2 years ago? Let me check. It is. It is last year. Yeah, 2023. That's when I purchased it. And I found it as a young orchid, not a seedling, so at least that. Oops, do we have too many roots? Yeah, it did go back in. So I got it as a younger orchid. You can see there, again, a little bit stressed, but she's very vigorous. Look at that. Look at the roots, look at the beautiful cane. And this is the first time it blooms in its life. It's a first time bloomer, and first time bloomers do not bloom true. Should we say it like that? No, they bloom true. They're not full potential. They usually produce less flowers than ideal or than they can. Sometimes they can have weird colors and patterns, or just modifications that they shouldn't have, anomalies. This one doesn't have an anomaly. She looks perfect, but it's just one flower. This one smells like lilies, to my nose at least. And it's absolutely fantastic and gorgeous. And I've always, for all my life, I've wanted it back, and I finally have it. And it bestowed a beautiful singular bloom this year for me, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. Right, let's look at another Felonopsis that's going a little wild now. Can we guess who this beautiful young lady here is? I don't know if she's young. She's older in my collection though. This is the Felonopsis, the trasp C1. This is the Felonopsis that always blooms different. And when I say different, don't imagine one day blue flowers, the other day yellow flowers. No, it's always white and red. You can have any manner of combination of white and red petals. We can have only one red petal here, as we can see. Let me give you a better focus. We can have 2 petals here. We can have more, and we can have some dots. You can see this petal has a little red dot here. You never know. This one has 3 petals. You never know. You can even have a fully red flower. It didn't happen to me, but I did have fully white flowers in the past. You never know how this pattern will turn out. This is a fully white flower here, as you can see. So yeah, you never know what you get with this orchid, and I really like it. She's a little unruly. Can we see? She has a keiki here that I will remove at some point. Some more flowers in the back. Really unruly. Got a little misshapen leaf here, but it's okay. And the flower spikes do last. I mean, these guys are years old at this point. You never want to cut flower spikes on Polychilus type Felonopsis because they can rebloom. Some of them will rebloom better than others. Like the Bellina, she kind of hangs on to the spikes for 2-3 years maybe, but this one, forever. It never dries its flower spikes. You have this really big jungle of flower spikes there. She's a little unruly, and I think she's better displayed like hanging or pendant like this so you can enjoy the blooms, because these guys will get long. I don't know how long they will get, but they will continuously grow. Yeah, so beautiful Tetraspis. She has a bit of a fragrance, but I cannot say it's beautiful or anything. It's just something very mild there. If you stick your nose into the flower, you'll detect something. Now to better see this one, we need to take her out because it's very dark in her corner. This is a Felonopsis, something with love. It's J.O. Summer Love, I do believe. The tag is in the back. She doesn't want to come out. And yeah, I think it's the roots that are attached to the tag. And I don't want to mess it up. This is a finicky orchid. This is the orchid that I told you a while back that I have her for like so many years. It's not even funny anymore. And she never did anything. And finally this year she blooms. But she's just finicky. She's just not vigorous. And I would say 100% of you guys who commented that have this orchid said you had the same experience. She's just not vigorous. There's something up with her, but she's just so gorgeous that you can't. So she's still blooming. She's a polychilous or a novelty hybrid, so she does hang on to her flower spike apparently, and the flowers are out of this world beautiful. It's such a shame she's not a vigorous hybrid and she grows so slow. These are two keikis that I saved from a dying mother plant. I don't remember exactly what happened to the mother plant. She just kind of melted off. And again, many of you said you had the same fate with yours. So this one, I don't know. It will have to be a judgment call. If you ever see it for sale, if it's worth getting, expect some finickiness because yeah, I don't know. This is just the nature of this hybrid, apparently. Hopefully in the future we're gonna have better batches, but for now, I was shocked that all of you guys said that you had issues with this orchid. And if it bloomed, you know, it bloomed. I think I have mine for 7 years. Something like 6, 7, something like that. And this is what I have to show for. Not much, but the flowers are absolutely amazing. Absolutely out of this world. Why do you have to be so pretty and so finicky? You're like the Nelly Eiler. Alright, so that's what I have for you today. Stay tuned for next month's little tour when we're gonna have a first time bloomer for me. This is a pinwheel type of a cattleya, big flowered pinwheel. Never seen before. Stay tuned for the blooms of her. What was that English? You get what I'm trying to say. Amazing Thailand. She has buds. I don't think she's gonna bloom next month, but we have buds in there as well. And also Fuchsia Glory, she has buds as well. But most importantly, stay tuned next month for Sick Notice Wine Delight. He's making a comeback. Who's the king? He's the king. They're waking up. The Tolunias are also waking up. Hopefully we're gonna have something next month. Also, we're gonna have some Dendrobium Phalaenopsis type action as well. Some Habanarias as well. It's gonna be a beautiful, beautiful month. And another very beautiful kitty, the one and only Cheetah, which she's almost open, but I'm gonna leave her for next month. Not gonna show you this one now. She's an oldie but goldie, but I'm always very, very happy when she blooms. Righty then, so that is about it for today. You can see there are a few more blooms here and there, but they're on their way out. Nothing important. Don't worry, we're gonna cycle through these orchids as we go every month, and I'm gonna show you more of them as they are in bloom. So, what do you think about this lights off type of a tour so that the Barinas don't stick out? And if you're really curious, if you are new and you didn't see how this room looks like with the Barinas on, hold on. Let me just show you. Are you ready? Oh my goodness. Hold on, hold on. There we are. This is the room with the Barinas. In reality, it's beautiful, it's magical, it's whimsical. Those are not Barinas, those are just normal lights. But yeah, you can see the purpliness, right? Right? It's not that pretty. So I decided to make this tour without the Barinas because it just looks better on camera. It does not look better in reality, but on camera it does. But yeah, this is the room with the Barinas. So let me know, was it better without the Barinas, just natural light, or do you prefer like this? Let me know. So that's about it for today. Let me know your thoughts again down below, and thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed hanging out with me today and taking a little tour and seeing the little orchids. I know I enjoy watching tours. And yeah, with that said, I hope you'll have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!